Welcome back to Beyond Ball. My name is Jacob Mathern, and got my co-host over here, Gabe Caraway. Gabe, it was in 2 weeks. We got on. I have a date on here, August 31st. Starts college football, and we are so back. So speaking of college football, we got some things to talk about it, obviously.
Yeah.
Let's just jump right into contenders. Obviously the top 25's out. There's going to be a few. I have a few things about it, but it's nothing too bad. I think it's a really good top 25. Only thing I saw about it that was really mind-boggling. Someone gave Colorado a vote for top 25. I saw that. I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
But whatever.
It's crazy.
Some of these voters just need to get their head in the game. I think they're made up. I know, that's what I'm saying. Hey, I'm all for it. If they go crazy, I'm all for it. But if they don't go crazy, then I'm not all for it. Plain and simple.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna start out with I think the biggest contender. It's obviously everybody has on the list. Number one in the country is Georgia. I mean, Carson Beck is. Oh no! Oh no, Gabe.
About that.
Oh no.
Okay. I have Ohio State.
Okay, that's honestly I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all.
They got crazy transfers. I don't know.
I agree. Honestly, the big thing about Georgia is they're not young. I mean, Carson Beck's been started first year last year, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so.
Coming off Stinson Bennett era, where they won 2 straight national championships, aggravated me and all college football fans. But Carson Beck, he's going to be a top 3 in his position. I mean, there's no and buts or about it. He's going to be a top 10 draft pick. People just hate on him for no reason because he's a good team. I mean, obviously he's a good team. It's Georgia. So, I mean, what is he supposed to go to? Charlotte? Just playing simple.
I don't know. I think he's got a really good team around him, so it's hard to know how good he is yet.
The film I've seen, I think he has really good accuracy. That a lot of people don't give him credit for. Just his arm power needs to develop a little bit more, my opinion.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna talk about their biggest transfer they got this offseason with Trevor Etienne.
Yeah.
I mean, him at Florida was a dog, plain simple.
Yeah.
One of the better SEC running backs that we have. But now he's going behind the Georgia offensive line, and that in itself is scary.
Yeah.
It's just looking at it, I'm like, yep, LSU's gonna have a fun time stopping them. And then of course, we want to talk about their I say their RB1B, Roderick Robinson. Last year, he was also the RB2, if I'm not mistaken. He's gonna be a sophomore this year. He's a dog, plain simple. I've seen a few things at camp where he's just running all over their defense, which always makes me happy. And then I have to talk about someone that's really, really true to my heart. Former 5-star. I saw this dude when I was trying to get recruited for football. See this dude come out at a camp, and I'm like, yep, that man is scary. Branson Robinson. I think they're going to be the RB2. He's coming off a knee injury. That was bad. But hopefully he come back perfectly healthy. Going to be a dog for wherever he ends up. I think he's probably going to get drafted next year, even if he plays or not. Dog. He's a physical specimen. See that man run a 4.40 in my time. I was scared for my life. And then just the last little note I have here is when you think about Georgia, you think about their amazing quarterbacks they always have. I'm kidding. Their defense. Obviously, defense has been Kirby Smart's main just special talent when it comes to recruiting. He always finds the best defensive players and turns them into even better ones. And so Kirby Smart always prides himself for his defense, and it's no same with this year. it's not as good as years past, but this year, they're I'm gonna mainly highlight their defensive tackle, Warren Brinson. He's our highest returning defensive lineman, and obviously, I mean, a serious contender for a first round pick. And so, obviously, I really think Georgia is going to be the number one contender. And I heard you have Ohio State.
This one, they got a really good transfer class. They got Judkins over from Ole Miss, who was pretty much, at least in the college football game, unstoppable before the update. And I mean, you saw him at Ole Miss. He was a really good player at Ole Miss. I always hated playing against him at LSU because they did that stupid halfback swing, like toss play, like 84 times when we played him last year. That was pretty annoying. He's not like, I wouldn't say he's like, he has burst. I don't know if he's like just like Devon Achane, just straight up speed all the way. I think he's a little more elusive. He's obviously stronger than Devon Achane, who's built kind of like me. And then they got Will Howard from Kansas State, who I would expect to be their starting quarterback. I know they got 2 or 3 freshman quarterback.
I have heard the reports that he is going to be the starting quarterback.
Yep. He had a good year at Kansas State. It just makes the most sense. Because you got those young guys, you just got to let them sit and develop. They also have in the backfield Travion Henderson, who is obviously a dog. I mean, he's built like a truck.
He is a dog.
Did he get? I think he got injured last year. If I'm not mistaken, or maybe that was their other guy they had.
And they also, I want to kind of point out James Peoples as their third RB3, I believe. He's a fresh.
I think so.
Yep. He just got his black stripe taken off. I saw a video on it. First of all, pretty cool tradition if I ask me. You see it myself.
Yep.
And he's a good running back. Great running back. So
they got really good receivers too. Egbuka's still there. He's kind of their number one guy. He's kind of been kind of 2 or 3 over the past few years, just because they've had so many good starting level receivers come through there. And then they also have that dude Jeremiah Smith as a true freshman, who already looks like he's been playing in the NFL for like 2 years at this point. I just think he's going to dominate, especially Big Ten, not really known for their secondaries. So I just think he'll light them up, even as a true freshman, really. Their defense is still pretty good. They've lost a couple guys over the past few years that have been impact players, but they always recruit well anyway. The biggest thing for me, and that kind of worries me, is Ryan Day. I don't know how much I trust him to win big games. They haven't beat Michigan at least the past 2 years. I know for sure. That's very worrisome for me. But with Harbaugh leaving Michigan, maybe the path opens up, but then you also introduce Oregon to the conference and USC to the conference, who I don't think is going to be that good, but still. It just gets tougher on Ryan Day, but I think with Harbaugh gone, I think Michigan was still their top contender, even though Michigan lost a lot. So I think if this is the year they're going to win a championship, it's got to be this year, or I don't know what's going to happen for Ryan Day.
I think he's a really good coach. Just for some reason, he has had really good teams in the past. He just couldn't get them to that level he needed to.
Yep.
But speaking of Oregon, I have number 2 of my list.
Yep.
Love me some Oregon.
Same.
The big thing with Oregon is Dylan Gabriel going to fill the hole of Bo Nix? Because Bo Nix, we love to hate on him because they almost took away the Heisman from Jay Daniels, but he was a decent quarterback. He led them all the way to the Pac-12 championship, where thank God they lost. Yeah. Shout out my boys in Washington. We love them. And then he was good at Oklahoma. He was a Heisman contender for a while. Then he kind of fell off towards the end of the year.
They
got
lost some big
injured or something
games.
like that. Yeah,
I think so.
But I think all in all, I think he's gonna be just fine in that offense, especially when you have a running back of James Jordan's caliber. With Bucky Irving now gone, I mean James Jordan should just absolutely just take off. Shout out Bucky Irving, MAIS product. Just saying, point that out. But James Jordan had a 92.8 PFF grade last year, just as a sophomore.
Yeah.
I mean, that's out of this world.
RB2.
RB2, exactly. And then when you think of Oregon, now you have to think of the wide receivers. Tej Johnson, Evan Stewart. I projected their wide receiver 3 from what I've seen. And that's crazy.
I think it'll be 2.
He's either 1, he's either 2 or 3. Tej Johnson.
He could be, he could be 1 or 2 in my opinion.
Yeah.
They have a true freshman, Jurion Dickey, who I think could instantly be their number 3.
Yeah, and then I think that their tight end is Terrence Ferguson. It's a different Terrence Ferguson, I believe.
Yep.
Absolute dog. Should be probably the first tight end taken in his NFL draft. Whenever he goes to it.
Colston Loveland from Michigan's pretty good too.
That's also very true. But the big thing about Oregon is their defense. Obviously in the Pac-12, what defense? Never heard of her. I mean, you see them get absolute torched by Washington last year. In that Pac-12 championship, Michael Penix absolutely dotted them up per usual, and thank God they did. But all in all, I think they're gonna be the top 3 contender. They should be a top 5 in A&P for a very long time throughout the year.
Yeah.
But are they gonna have fun? Are they gonna fund the Big Ten with Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State? Poor Penn State, man. I always have Penn State, but it's just getting more rough for them.
It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. So, yeah, I do have Oregon as my number 2 as well. We pretty much covered everything. I'll go ahead and spoil it. Dylan Gabriel is my Heisman pick. I just think he's going to have a really good year. I know. But they got a really good team around him. I just think he played really good at Oklahoma, and I don't think his cast was this good, clearly. Defense is where Oregon, especially in the secondary, I'm a little bit concerned. But they did go out and grab Washington's top 3, top 5 best player in Jabbar Muhammad at cornerback. He should step in and be their instant number 1, not even a competition. So that makes me feel a little bit better about Oregon's defense, and I think their offense, if nothing else, is going to carry them through most of the games.
All right, my number 3 is Ohio State. I think that's an easy top 3. That should be easy. Top, of course, when you think about that, now that Kyle McCord's gone, Ohio State fans can rejoice. He can go to Syracuse. He can go have fun wherever they're at. I'm tired of watching that offense. Will Howard get over that hump? Spoiler alert, he will. He most definitely will. Especially, like I said, we covered everything, especially as college football 25 legend Quinshon Judkins at RB1 and Trayvon Henderson at RB2. The wide receivers are sexy. Offensive line sexy. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, I know when you have Brandon Ennis on your wide receiver 4, it's just nothing like that. And then of course you got the best safety of all of college football in Caleb Downs.
Yep.
I mean, it's pretty crazy to say because I think he was just a true freshman last year.
He was.
So just being a true freshman, already the best safety. There's nothing to do about it. And then, of course, Jack Sawyer is going to go absolutely stupid this year on the defensive line. I think he's going to turn out to be a first-round draft pick and just going to be an absolute dog.
Sonny Styles, I believe they still have. He's kind of a safety linebacker hybrid. He's a big boy.
He is a big boy. He's a big boy.
Yep. Well, number 3, this is where I have Georgia. It was close between them and Oregon, but I just went with Oregon. I don't know why. I think it's because I do like Dylan Gabriel more than Carson Beck. I got to be honest.
That's fair. That's very fair, honestly.
I think Beck could take that step though, and they could easily be the number 1 team for most of the season. They have a great O-line. We mentioned this. Trevor Etienne, who already got into some trouble, but I mean he goes to Georgia now, so he has to. But I think he'll be. I don't think he's getting suspended or anything, so I think he'll be fine. So he was good at Florida, even though their team was pretty mid. So I think he'll just do a lot better behind a way better O-line. Defense, they have Malachi Starks at safety, who's a dog. Mikael Williams, Smile London. These are
What
all
a name.
players that are just gonna kill the quarterback up front. Even Malachi Starks, I believe, they bring him on some blitzes a lot of the times too.
They do.
But he'll be one of the best safeties in the country. So I just think there's literally no holes for really most of these top 3 teams. And even then, like for Georgia, the coaching is going to fix a lot of that because Kirby Smart's, I guess he's the best coach in the country at this point now with Saban gone. So that'll be my number 3.
With number 4, we're gonna keep staying in the SEC here. I hate to do this, I really do, but it's gotta be Texas. I mean, it's gonna look at me weird. Their first year in the SEC, it's gonna be like how they're gonna do. And I hate to do this because my number 5 is also an SEC team that I will get to in just a second. Texas is just it's gonna be a weird team. Can their defense keep up with SEC offense? Spoiler alert, probably won't, but
yeah,
it's a gamble of a team that it might do well. I mean, they had I think the best quarterback in all of the college football country in Quinn Ewers. Crazy take. And if that, I mean, shoot, you got the number 1 quarterback behind them. Oh no, what are they gonna do?
Yeah,
I mean, definitely the big question is they have a lot of injuries at running back. Who is going to be the RB1 after Jonathan Brooks left last year? Hopefully it's going to be good because they're going to need it. Because Quinn Ewers can't pass for 6,000 yards like we can in NCAA. And of course, Quinn Ewers are going to pass through probably one of the best SEC wide receivers we have in Isaiah Bond. Yep. He's him, his Timothy, and nothing but him. And of course, just going back to their defense, are they going to keep up? Most definitely, probably not. But if they can, they're going to be deadly.
Yeah, my number 4, I got Alabama. I do not have Texas. Spoiler alert. Even as my honorable mention, I don't know. I guess just first year at SEC, I just don't really know where to put them. You know, even though I trust Ewers actually. So yeah, Alabama. Saban's gone. Man, thank God for the rest of us. But then they get, I think, a really good head coach coming over from Washington, Kalen DeBoer. I don't know if he'll instantly become, Bear Bryant, Saban. I don't know if he'll follow in that lineage, but I think that's a little bit crazy. But I think he's still a pretty good head coach. He's got Jalen Milroe returning at quarterback, but I think he's just going to improve. His passing still needs a little bit of work. I think this will be his last year. He'll probably leave after this year anyway. So he's really got to turn it on in that department. The great O-line still there. You had I can't remember their left tackle's name who transferred to Iowa and then came back.
Oh,
in the same off season, yeah. So they got him back, unless he transfers again. I don't know. Who knows? But he's a really good lineman. They did lose a couple. I mean, they lost J.C. Latham. Let's go Titans. And they lost.
They did lose their starting center.
Yeah, but he was pretty ass, if I'm not mistaken.
He was.
Didn't he cost him in the Michigan game or something?
Yeah.
He had bad snaps or something. Yeah, so I don't think it'll be a crazy loss. They still got good recruits coming in anyway. They always develop. Maybe that was Saban. We'll find out. Lack of weapons is my concern. Receiver, it's not a great room. It really is not. It's hard. It's really hard to look at. You got to really prepare yourself because this is not your daddy's Alabama receiver room anymore. There's really not. They lost Isaiah Bond to Texas, so he was expected to be their number 1 guy this year. You lose Jimmy Burton in the draft. I just don't really know who's going to step up. We're just going to have to wait and see. That's kind of what that is. Defensively, front 7, they lost some guys, but they still got good recruits. I mean, it's Alabama. They're going to have a good front 7. The secondary is a little bit concerning. They did get a big transfer from Michigan, Keon Sabb, their safety. And then they got a corner who's been a little bit disappointing, in college so far, Damani Jackson from USC. So we'll see if they can step up because they're going to have to pretty much, even as transfers, lock it up in the secondary for them because that's not great in the secondary. Overall, defensively, there's concerns. And even as a team, there's concerns. But it's Alabama. You got your quarterback coming back. You got still a great O-line. They're going to play their brand of football. It's just going to happen. Kalen DeBoer, I think, is going to have a really good year, even first year as a SEC head coach. That's not an easy position to be in. But when you inherit a good team, a good program, I think the tools are there for him to succeed in this coaching position. We'll just see if he can do it.
Yeah. The point out for the Alabama, they're not in my top 5. I'm not going to touch Alabama. Their wide receiver 2, I believe, is Kendrick Law. Dude benches about 465 as a wide receiver. And then the left tackle we're thinking of was Caden Proctor. Couldn't remember his name. I'm going to be biased on this one. Number 5, LSU.
Okay.
All right. We're going to talk about LSU in just a second, just to speed this along. But I'm just going to jump straight to my honorable mention. Wow. Michigan.
Okay.
So, Alex Orji, great name. I'm putting that.
It's an orgy in the end zone.
It's just an orgy in the end zone. Shout out RG3. We know he just got fired. But man, great calls he had. It's gonna be an orgy in the end zone. But the thing with Michigan, I mean, we've seen it all happen all season with everything going on with the whole Jim Harbaugh stuff, all the spying. Probably going to get last year stripped away from them, everything. But, I mean,
don't know.
they can self-proclaim
I don't know about all that.
It. Probably not. But they can self-proclaim it like UCF did, a bunch of frauds.
But they didn't actually do anything. Michigan did.
That's what I'm saying. And so, of course,
I hate UCF so much.
That was such a oh my gosh. Like, congrats, you beat Auburn, but cool, you beat Bo Nix. Oh, man, that's so hard. I just want to point out Michigan, their running back room. Another college football 25 legend in Donovan Edwards. Bro steals all my carries in Road to Glory. I'm glad I changed out of Michigan for that part. I actually saw a video on Alex Orji. Bro is a physical specimen. He's like 6'4", 240-ish. Like he's like a Cam Newton type build. It's kind of crazy. Bro has major arm strength, and of course he can run the ball. And then they lost a lot of weapons last year. They lost Roman Wilson. That's a big one. But they had that amazing tight end. And what's their tight end name?
Their tight end's name is not in my notes.
It's not in my notes either.
Colston Loveland.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Colston Loveland, dog. I can't forget his name, but that's okay. We're just gonna keep eye on him.
I just said it earlier too. I don't know why I couldn't remember.
And the big thing with Michigan is their defense is still going to be absolute amazing. I hope they keep up from last year. They have good, just transition to a new era of Michigan football. Hopefully Alec Orji doesn't turn into Joe Milton, and we can go on our way. It's going to be an orgy in the end zone.
It will be. Always. So, my number 5 actually is Michigan. You kind of went over most of the things. No more Harbaugh. Sharon Moore. He already stepped in once when Harbaugh was suspended. I don't remember their record in that stretch, but I think it was pretty good. I don't know how good their strength of schedule was, but he had his guys ready back then. I think he could do it. Again, they lost talent to the draft, obviously. Blake Corum, J.J. McCarthy. I mean, that's the backbone of your offense right there. That's the heart of the team right there. The defense can still lead them. That's where they didn't lose quite as much. Mason Graham up front. He's probably like a top 10 player in the country.
Very scary.
Kenneth Grant is also there with you. In the linebacker room, they got Jayshon Barham from, I believe... Can't remember. He transferred in from somewhere.
Penn State name. I don't know why.
It was a red team. Maybe Maryland.
I don't know.
I think it was Maryland. Yeah, I think it was Maryland.
That does sound like a Maryland name too.
Let me just stall for a second.
While you're stalling, I also want to point out Mason Graham, calling it now, number 1 overall pick next year. James Pierce Jr. is not mid. He's going to be top 5, but compared to Mason Graham's just, even as a defensive tackle, he makes just that impact like that.
Yep. Jayshon Barham, Maryland Terrapin, former Maryland Terrapin. So he'll be leading the linebacker room for Michigan. Will Johnson at cornerback. I'm not even going to say a lot because there isn't much to be said. He'll be a top 10 pick, I think, easy. New defensive coordinator. You got Wink Martindale coming over from the Giants. Maybe not a great stint in the Giants, but they had their moments last year, if I'm not mistaken. They had to make up for their offense. So I think overall on defense, that's going to be your strength, obviously. I mean, they're going to be relying on them to win most of their games unless Alex Orji can really take that step. I think he can. I think he has the tools for being a good quarterback, especially he's got Donovan Edwards in the backfield with him. Throws him. I think he'll be the first running back off the board next year. Colston Loveland at tight end. You lose Roman Wilson, but I think Loveland should step in as your number 1 option, and that's a pretty good number 1 option, even as a tight end. So I think Michigan, there's concerns, and I could have easily put another team here. But overall, I think I just trust that Sharon Moore is going to step in for Harbaugh. I trust their defense, and that's what's going to put them at number 5. Honorable mention, I'll go ahead and get to it, is Missouri.
You got it. I did not see that one coming.
You got to hear me out here. All right,
I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
Brady Cook is a good quarterback, and I'm tired of pretending like he's not.
Absolutely.
Eli Drinkwitz is an up-and-coming SEC head coach too. They had a great year last year. Brady Cook had over 3,000 passing yards, over 20 touchdowns combined with rushing and passing. 6 picks, 66 completion percentage, so it's a pretty good year for him. You expect him to take that next step this year. He's still got that guy, Luther Burden, who I think could be the best receiver in the country.
I should remember not knowing his name last year. That's kind of casual of me.
Yeah. I mean, you know his name now after last
absolutely.
year. 1,200 yards, 9 TDs for him last year. He'll only grow in strength this year. I think he'll have a way better year. Another thing to note, they have the easiest SEC schedule this year. They will not be playing Georgia, LSU, Ole Miss, or Texas. So they don't have any of those teams to worry about. Half of their games are against first-year head coaches. So that stands out a lot because being an SEC head coach, as I mentioned earlier, first year sometimes doesn't go that great. So that gives them an advantage in those matchups. They did lose Cody Schrader, who was kind of their bell cow at running back. He had a really good year. I think 1,600 plus yards, if I'm not mistaken, he had last year. The concern is secondary and on defense just overall. They lost their defensive coordinator to LSU, who had the guys going last year. They were pretty good. I mean, they did lose people to the draft, but I think they lost Ennis Rakestraw. They lost Chris Abrams-Drain, both their top 2 corners, so they're going to have to find guys that can step up. That's why they're my honorable mention. I didn't put them in the top 5. There's a team I want to mention. They could finish unranked. I don't know. It's really, to me, it's all on their defense. But when you have the easy schedule, and when you have all those games against first-year head coaches, and you have a good head coach in Eli Drinkwitz, you have a top 10, 5 offensive player in the country. I think they have a really good chance to shock a lot of people this year if Brady Cook could step up. That's my big takeaway.
Of course, when you think about Missouri, you got to think about their devastating loss they had last year to the LSU Tigers, aka the Bear Tigers, aka our team. So let's just go right into the LSU section. The Nuss Bus era is here, and we're there for it. Honestly, we're here for it.
We're here. Yeah, we're here.
Absolutely. He's a sleeper when it comes to everything. When it comes to draft, Heisman. But the big thing about LSU, when you think about them, is not only their defense, but I'm going to talk about their wide receiver room real quick. You're losing Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas, 2 two of the best deep threats you had at LSU last year. Is Lacey going to step up? I think he will, personally.
Fix the drops. He should be fine.
Absolutely. And then speaking of defense, last year with that,
Matt House is a terrorist.
Matt House did not care anything about LSU. He was there for the vibes and vibes only.
The LSU Barstool post after he got fired was great. It was like Messi crying or something, I think.
I remember shedding a tear that day. It was just straight happy tears.
It was a great day. It was a perfect day.
I actually remember partying that day. Whip it over. I think I whipped over actually 2 monsters that day. It was a long day.
Mr. Blue Sky was playing like in the background in my head the whole day. After it happened, it was like nothing can go wrong.
And then of course now we have the Blake Baker era of defense. He got Missouri fired up against us last year, and I'm here for it. Hopefully we get to catch a game. But when you of course mention their defense, of course you gotta mention the best defensive player in all of college football, best linebacker, best defensive end. Honestly, he can play anywhere. Harold Perkins Jr., number 4. I mean, what can you not say about him? He's a dog.
He's great.
He's a dog. He's a dog.
Yeah.
The big thing the big thing is we gotta fix his corners. It's always been that story since Stingley went bye-bye on us.
Yeah.
So hopefully that gets all fixed, and we don't talk about Eli Ricks around here. I remember that gets me going.
He had top 3 draft pick potential, and then he just decided to throw it all away.
For Alabama, that's crazy. Hopefully our safeties hold up. Only name that can just come out to me, hopefully he has a breakout year, is Sage Ryan I
hate Sage Ryan.
And of course,
I don't know.
A name of all time, Major Burns. Gosh, I love Major Burns. It's gonna be a second round. It's probably gonna be a second round pick this year. Hopefully, he comes out pretty good.
His coverage needs work. That's the thing. It's always his coverage. He's always getting cooked.
And hopefully, my favorite thing about LSU is their running back. I texted Gabe earlier that this specific guy is gonna have a absolute breakout year. And now I'm actually trying to remember his name for some reason.
Caleb Jackson?
Yes. Okay, I had that in mind. Jackson Blaziken. Shout out that one TikTok series that I watched all year. Caleb Jackson is a dog. Yeah. He apparently put on like 30 pounds of muscle this offseason. Reportedly. We all saw what he did last year against Mississippi State. That man future family's gonna watch that and be ashamed of him. Caleb Jackson, breakout year. I'm expecting at least a minimum of 1,000-yard rushing. And yeah, that's all I have.
All right. One thing I did, I don't know if you did it. I'm gonna let you go ahead and do that while I'm talking as a record prediction for the season.
Oh yes.
I don't know if you want to scurry and get that together.
I have it right here. Just like the main record. I think 11-1 is the ceiling. I see a lot of people 10-2, 11-1. So I'm ultimately going 11. I'm not going undefeated. Honestly, that's a lot of games scare me on the schedule. I think 8-4 is a good floor. Just all in all, hopefully we get around 10-2, 11-1, just so we can sneak into this playoffs format, and we can go shock the world.
Actually, my ceiling is 10-2, and I think 9-3 is a pretty good floor. 8-4, somewhere in there. I think there's a good range somewhere in there. I can't decide because there's so many games that I just don't know. They could go either way.
Yeah.
The 2 losses I have right now is Ole Miss and Texas A&M. Texas A&M has trap game written all over it, being in College Station right before Alabama. That's a trap game. We always play questionably in College Station. I hate playing there. It's like a cult anyway.
I agree.
From what I hear,
being there, it's weird.
Yeah, it's just, I I hate Texas A&M. Hate everything about them. Their new jerseys are mid. I'm sorry.
Screw Max Johnson for going there.
Max Johnson, man, I don't know. The backwards pass against UCLA will always live on in my mind. I don't know what he was doing.
I don't care. He threw a pass to Deion Smith, another MIS product, Jackson Academy. Yeah. I personally got stiff-armed by him. I actually remember him playing his highlight reel. I think three highlights were against my team back in high school.
Christian got shout out Christian. He got stiff-armed like twice, I think, in that video.
I think Brandon got like hurdled one time. That was rough. Oh my gosh, that was a rough game.
Yeah, it was.
But now at least Mac Johnson can go have fun in North Carolina. He's a chance to start there, I guess.
Yeah, I think his brother followed him, if I'm not mistaken. He's a tight end, Jake Johnson.
Yeah.
So yeah, LSU, we covered a lot of it. I think the big thing is the defense. It has been for years now. Who's going to step up at corner? That's my biggest concern. The safeties, I'm concerned with our safeties, but the safeties are there. Sage Ryan just has to actually play like he's a 5-star recruit, which he was. Major Burns, he needs to get rid of that neck pad. He looks stupid. It doesn't help him. I feel like he's both of them are always getting cooked. But I think they can step up. Corey Raymond's back in town. Hopefully he can bring back DBU, please. Blake Baker can hopefully utilize them very well at safety. At corner, you have Javian Toviano was supposed to step up. He went through a situation. I don't want to talk about it. He's back with the team now. So you're hoping he's going to step up. He was a very good recruit. He's a physical corner. He's a big guy. He's strong for his position. One name I've been hearing all throughout spring and summer is Ashton Stamps, who's a true freshman corner.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
I think he could be cornerback one from what I hear. I feel like he's playing. I'm hearing his name all over the place when I see reports about our defense and their secondary. You move to the front seven. You got Harold Perkins leading the group. He's going to have to. Where will he be utilized? I don't know. He had a great pass rush grade. He had a great coverage grade last year when he was kind of a hybrid. I didn't know if I necessarily loved it. The team needed it. They needed him in different positions. But I really would like for him to get back to that freshman where he can just rush the pasture and have games like Arkansas game where he can just absolutely win the game for us. Because that's a potential that he has. He's a bit undersized to play full-time end or edge. That's a little bit concerning, but his strength and his speed is pretty much unblockable for most tackles anyway. How will Blake Baker utilize him? That's the big storyline on defense. Offense, it's a nuts bus era. It's here. He's been here forever. He's a gunslinger. He's gonna make mistakes. He's gonna throw touchdowns.
Yeah.
The receiver room's great. Kyron Lacey just has to fix the drops. CJ Daniels coming over from Liberty. Xavion Thomas from Mississippi State. He can be a force in the return game. You got Aaron Anderson, who's still here. He wasn't great last year. He really didn't impress me. I think he's best utilized in like a jet sweep game. That's like he's kind of a gadget guy. Kind of him and Xavion Thomas are very similar from what I recognize.
Well, the good thing about Aaron Anderson, he's also a redshirt sophomore, so he still has at least 1 to 2 more years under his belt that he can come out and learn a little bit more.
Yep. But CJ Daniels is a guy that stands out. He had a great year at Liberty. Competition, whatever. You can say what you want. But, I mean, he still put up numbers. They had great quarterback play. So if Nussmeier, I think he can be better than Caden Salter at Liberty, obviously. No disrespect to Caden Salter. I actually really like him. Bro wears an Axiom, so that's cool. So it's all on Nussmeier on offense. You have a top 5 at worst O-line, in my opinion. Will Johnson, he'll be a top.
Will Campbell.
I combined a few people there. Will Campbell is going to be a top 5 pick. Emory Jones could be a first-round pick as well.
It's got to be.
You lose Lance Hurd to Tennessee. He was a 5-star. You think that either him or Jones could have moved into guard and just we could have had all three of them on the same line. But he decided to leave. He probably. I just think you got to wait it out.
Yeah.
Will Campbell's better than you are. Accept it. Emory Jones is better than you are. Accept it. You can play guard. There's not an elite guard on this roster that we have. You could easily have stepped in there. So that was a little bit disappointing, but the O-line should still be great. I mean, I'm not concerned at all. Running back should feast behind this O-line. Caleb Jackson will just throw off guys anyway, so it's not like it's going to matter. John Emery's back for his 18th year at LSU.
Only person left from 2019.
Yeah. I just hope he can stay healthy, man. Please stay healthy for 1 year. He still has potential. He's still an electric player when you get the ball in his hands. He does that weird stutter juke move like every time he gets a catch. He did it against Alabama, I think 2 years ago. He had a really long touchdown. So he's still a good running back. He's just got to stay healthy. And it's a competitive room. You got Trey Holly, who's I believe sophomore, redshirt freshman this year. He'll be back. He's kind of an undersized guy, but he's really, really fast. Caden Durham, true freshman, coming in from Duncanville in Texas. He's got track speed. He literally does have track speed. He could be an impact player this year, as far as I'm concerned. So the running back room, no concerns. Offensive line, no concerns. Weapons on the outside. Just got to stay healthy. Kyron Lacey fixed the drops. Tight end, you got Mason Taylor, who's going to be a stud. Kamorian Pimpton, who's like 6'6", 6'7". He's just a monster. Trades Green, I know, is 6'7". And we could have all three on the same field, and it would be unguardable.
I've seen so many reports. So many reports about Pimpton and Trades Green just being,
very elite.
Tossing guys, throwing them off their shoulders, mossing them.
You can't guard that height and that ability. This is probably the best tight end room ever at LSU, maybe. I haven't seen it better. I've been paying attention. If they can all live up to it and they don't leave, Mason Taylor will probably be gone after this year. I think he's a surefire top 3-4 round draft pick if he goes. Last year was a little bit disappointing for him, but I think he can come back this year. So, I think I covered everything for LSU.
Just one last thing before we go to the Heisman section. I believe Josh Williams is still on the team, as from what I've observed. I think he's a good running back as well. Just to throw that one out there. I think he's projected probably the RB2, RB3. I hope Caleb Jackson, they just give him the reins, let him cook, let him throw people over. And then, I kind of forgot that Caden Durham was there for a second there.
Yeah.
I watched his highlight reel at Duncanville. Dude ran past everybody at the highest level of Texas football, and that is very scary. But probably he's going to have to wait a while before he gets the full reins, especially after this year. Caleb Jackson's going to step in. Trey Holly is here. And then, of course, Gabe Durham is going to be him, especially probably next 2 years. Once he puts some weight on him, different. Just now we talked a lot about LSU, our team. Hope we expect a lot out of them. What is but the big thing about college football is the most prestigious award, the best award, the Heisman. We already heard Gabe's winner with that's the obvious answer, obviously. But I think my winner, he plays so much like Jaden Daniels. I think it's too just not surefire to actually play. I'm picking Jalen Milroe. He's Jaden Daniels' budget, as I call him. The deep accuracy is just as good as Jaden Daniels. Not as good, but it's close to it. Bro can run the ball, and he will not scared to take a hit. I think we remember him absolute trucking a dude at when he played LSU.
They were running the same play, man. I don't know why we couldn't. Matt House, man. I can't. I don't want to.
I don't want to talk about Matt House. Matt House is just He's gone. I don't know where he's at now. Hope he doesn't have a job.
At home, yeah. Please.
Hope he's still on the couch, just watch us. But it's just gonna. The fact is, Joe Burrow gonna use him really well. He's not gonna be a person that stands in the pocket all day long. He wants to get outside the pocket and he wants to throw on the run. That's his game. He's gonna look downfield, and it's just running so much of Jane Daniels. He's not as good. No one would be as good. Jane Daniels was one of probably the top 3 best SEC quarterbacks we had the past 10 years, right behind Joe Burrow. And I just want to hear a little bit about this Dillon Gabriel take you have over here.
Dillon Gabriel had a great year last year. It was the competition wasn't, maybe you could say it wasn't great, I guess. I don't know. He showed up in big games. I believe they beat Texas last year in the Red River rivalry game. So he has the talent. It's about the injury concerns. Back at UCF, that was his biggest thing. He really could not stay healthy. But the weapons are much better than he had at Oklahoma. I mean, it's pretty much not even close, in my opinion. You have a top 5 receiver room, probably a top 5 tight end in the country, top 3. The O-line's still good. I think you have better coaching here. So Dillon Gabriel should just really improve on the year he had last year, where he was already a Heisman contender. And I want to talk about a guy I already mentioned, who's my dark horse sleeper. I guess just because it's a quarterback award at this point. It's not official, but it is. It's just really hard. But Luther Burden is my sleeper.
Ooh, that's a
because he's top, maybe the best receiver in the country. Certainly top 3. As I said before, he just has to improve on what he had last year, which was a great year. That's depending on his quarterback play. Brady Cook, I think, is going to improve. So the targets should go up. The yards should go up. The touchdowns, the easy schedule, it all lines up for Luther Burden to have a great year and to end up as a top 10 pick when his time has come to be drafted.
It is a quarterback award. I just want to point out Jalen Milroe has the odds at plus 1,000. And so if you're in sports gambling, that is a easy take right there. But my dark horse going with quarterback here is Noah Fifta is this man's 4,000 into the positive. It's Noah Fifta out of Arizona. Yep. I just want to point out a few stats from last year. So last year he had 2,870 yards, 25 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, on a QBR of 83.8, which is 8th in the country last year. I just want to point out what he did versus Arizona State. He went 30 for 41, 527 yards, and 5 touchdowns to 1 pick. Granted, I know it's Arizona State, but, I mean, when you throw 500 yards against a team, it's pretty crazy in general. And then, of course, they whooped Oklahoma in the Alamo Bowl last year, whatever you say it. In that game, he went 24 for 38, 354 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. That final last 5 games, he beat a ranked Utah, a ranked UCLA, ranked Oklahoma. And all in all, if he is utilized like how he did his final 5 games, they were 7-2 with him starting. That's just 9 games of stats. I see him just through the roof next few years. And so,
I'm trying to look at Luther Burden's odds, and I was looking at this Vegas Insider, and I found KJ Jefferson before I found Luther Burden.
Oh,
insane!
Hey, KJ Jefferson always wins Heisman in College 425. So
it's like his 6th year. He's been in Arkansas for a while, and now he's at UCF.
I thought KJ Jefferson would be him for a while, and then he got absolute cooked versus LSU last year. Oh, that was so great to see. And while you're seeing that, I know Dillon Gabriel's like plus 600. I think he's like the favorite or something like that. I think he's one of the favorites. Luther Burden's probably like a plus 40 million.
It's hard for receivers to win this.
I think Travis Hunter actually has higher odds than him. I think Travis Hunter's like a plus 5,000. Granted, he plays
for Colorado. Yeah, he plays both sides and plays for Colorado, so
it's gonna be something like that. And while you figure that, so a lot of the college football, really excited for. For bad people who's gonna have a wedding on October 12th. I won't be. I'll personally be on my couch or on my bed watching football.
Yep.
But I mean, when you also think about football, you have to think of what's going on outside college football in the NFL. NFL preseason here. I'm not there for it, but I will watch anyway. I'm not super excited, but I don't really care. I kind of want to watch.
I found it.
Oh, you found it? What is it?
Luther Burden, according to DraftKings, plus 8,000, which is honestly lower than I was expecting. So
that's wow. All right, well, there's Luther Burden. If you want to have a wide receiver, hammer that.
I'm putting that bet in right now.
Not game advice. I'm not 21. But obviously, going to NFL preseason, I have some takeaways. So Gabe, I think I have 3. I think you have 3 as well, Gabe.
I have 2. I just didn't have enough time.
That's fair. My number 1 is I'm going to go to the Patriots, which, if you remember our last episode, they were one of my worst teams. I think they had like 31 or 30. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But I watched the last preseason game, which is week 2. They won't be good this year, but that's expected. But if they develop their pieces correctly, they will be good. Drake May needs a lot of maturity to do. He made really good reads, but all in all, he got developed his game. We knew that coming out in North Carolina. That's obvious.
Yeah.
Jalen Polk, after the catch ability is out of this world. I saw that man personally drop James Bradbury, had him slip and slide in. That brought my heart really happy because I hate a man named James Bradbury. But that's besides the point. I hate him when he was at New York Giants too. And then I think it's Javon Baker, a great deep threat if he could just catch the ball.
Yeah,
plain simple.
That's actually my first takeaway was Drake May looks like he could start over Brissett, because Brissett did not look good. Sorry, he really didn't. The team around him's not good, so I don't know. I don't think the quarterback who plays isn't going to succeed either way, at least this year. But I think Brissett just really struggled. The safe thing is to play him for at least the first part of the season, but that's just my biggest takeaway is that May looks like he could start if he wanted to, and they let him start.
Speaking of just really bad quarterbacks, poor Kenny Pickett. I don't know if you saw that game. It was rough.
Yeah, he's really bad.
The backup offense line is not really good. That's obvious. It's the backups, but when you had that pocket awareness where that was your best thing about you coming out of Pittsburgh, I mean, you lost it. You're getting sacked all over the place. You're not good.
Yeah.
Plain simple. I was not a big Kenny Pickett guy coming out of that draft. I mean, to be fair, the whole draft is bad. Besides,
that was all-time bad draft for
Brock Purdy. Shout out Brock Purdy. Big Brock Purdy
Matt Corral, Malik Willis, Desmond Ritter.
A little bit.
It's just trash. It's garbage.
I miss Desmond Ritter starting at Atlanta. He made the Saints' life so much easier.
Malik Willis, preseason, rookie year. He was great. I thought he was him. I thought he was going to be the next guy after Tannehill, but things went the other way.
Sadly. Tanner McKee will be the QB2. I wish we took McKee over Jake Haener as a Saints fan. Jake Haener is good, but Tanner McKee is better. Tanner McKee was dotting up that Patriots defense. Like, I watched that game, I was like, oh my gosh, they were getting absolutely whooped.
Well, my second and final takeaway, it's kind of an obvious one. Anybody who you can not even watch sports and you probably seen something about him, and that's Caleb Williams. Played well in his 2 series. It's 2 series. It's preseason. You can say what you want, but he looked pretty good. 4 for 7, 95 yards. He had a 13-yard scramble too. Some of that dual threat ability. It's one run, but we know he has that ability. It's just nice to see it. So yeah, both of my takeaways, I just went with the top quarterbacks in the class and just how they looked, because I think that's big storylines for both of their teams. Obviously, Caleb Williams is the starter. Drake May is, we don't really know yet, but yeah, Caleb Williams looks good. He's got a good team around him. I don't see how he doesn't succeed this year. It was just nice to finally see him out on the field. The Williams era has started in Chicago, and I think it should last a long time. So yeah,
he's the number one overall pick for a reason. I mean, you can hate him if you want, hate his off-field antics. Don't really care. He's gonna be probably a top 10 quarterback in the next coming years. Probably even top 5.
I'm excited to play him week 1 in Chicago.
I'm scared for y'all. Honestly, I'm very scared for y'all.
He's got a man named Jeffrey Simmons coming in his face the whole game.
That's very fair.
And T'Vondre Sweat is a big boy. So
he is a big boy. I hope he just succeeds. For my third and final take, I'm gonna go over to AFC with the Baltimore Ravens. Their first round pick, Nate Wiggins, looks like an absolute dog, as I called him. I called that one since day one. I thought they were gonna pick Cooper DeJean personally, but that's just me being biased. But all in all, Nate Wiggins, I knew he was gonna be a dog from day one. He led all rookies in PFF grade the first week of preseason, and he's going to be a perfect cornerback too for the Ravens. And it's just for years to come. However long Humphrey's going to be there, he's going to be right next to him. Now we got at all this preseason.
Can I mention one more thing?
Absolutely.
I actually scrapped it at the last second, but I'll talk about it a little bit. Joe Burrow played in preseason, back from injury, looked good. They even got T. Higgins out there, who I think hates the GMs at this point. I think this will be his last year in Cincinnati. I don't see how he's going to stay. But they were both out there, played good. I think they connected for a touchdown, if I'm not mistaken. I think the Bengals, that was the biggest thing. Obviously, the injury concerns. When you have your top 3, top 5 quarterback, you got to see how he looks. It's preseason, always. We got to say this before anything we say because it's preseason. But it looked good coming back from the injury. Something that did not look good, the Bengals' run defense. Pretty bad. Lost DJ Reader to the Lions. And, yeah, when DJ Reader was not on the field, they were pretty horrible. Now you're not going to ever have him on the field. So, really concerning. And I don't know, most of their D-line starters didn't play, but still, something I wanted to note.
Speaking of, really good defensive tackles, we're going to go over to Tennessee. Let Gabe have his whole spill about the beautiful Titans, as I think he's been waiting for this to happen. We scratched this last week, and so we're gonna move on to this week. Gabe, take it away. I'll ask questions throughout the week. Right, you talk.
All right, just let me cook. So basically, I just mentioned a few seconds ago. Actually, both of them, Jeffrey Simmons and T'Vondre Sweat. That's where it starts on defense. Jeffrey Simmons, we know who he is. NFL does not. Apparently, the players, they don't rank him high on the top 100s every year. It's I think the best he's ever gotten is 40. What are we doing? I seriously don't know what else he has to do. Minus play for a different team. If he didn't play for the Titans, he'd be top 3 player ever, probably. He's just wrecking people. This is something I'll bring up in a little bit, but the Seahawks joint practices were this week before the preseason game. He threw the Seahawks guard 3 yards. It wasn't even a competition. They don't have anybody that can block him. Now, it's the Seahawks, but still, that's just a preview of what he does to pretty much every guard one-on-one. You can't block him. Another man you can't block is T'Vondre Sweat because he's just bigger than you are. Both of them on the interior of the D-line, they both require doubles, and that means the ends aren't getting blocked, where you have Harold Landry, who's really slept on. Back from an injury, still had 10-plus sacks last year. Thank God we're not playing Simmons or Landry in the preseason, or Snead. We're not playing any of them. We got to keep them healthy because we have Simmons, Landry, Sweat. That's a mean D line. Even if the linebackers are stinky. Linebackers, I will get to. Chance Campbell, Ole Miss legend, had a great game at linebacker last week. He had a pick. Sounds like it was the same thing in these joint practices. He was just playing really well. He's standing out amongst a very weak linebacker room. Hopefully he can, I don't know if he'll get a starter role, but I mean, the position's open. So if he can just continue like he's been playing in these practices, he should have a chance. Otis Reese is also the other linebacker, another Ole Miss guy who actually played pretty good last year towards the end of the year when he had to step in, fill in whenever you needed him. He played pretty well. From the joint practices, that's really what I got. Seemed to be pretty even between the Seahawks and us. Both teams got theirs on defense and offense. Sam Howell didn't look great from what I heard. That's about it. Not really surprised. Sorry.
That's so sad. I'm always a big Sam Howell guy.
He can air it out.
I mean, I believe it. I still think he'd be QB. He's gonna be QB2. He's gonna be QB1 next year.
Yeah, I think that's possible. This happened I guess a couple weeks ago at this point, but DeAndre Hopkins did get injured 4 to 6 weeks at the time when it happened. So you're maybe almost about 2 weeks into that time frame. Could be available week 1. Calvin Ridley can step up and be number 1 if we needed him to, just for 1 week. Tyler Boyd's there. I guess everybody forgot we signed Tyler Boyd. Who's not good now, apparently, that he plays for us. Still a top 5 slot receiver, probably. It's the Titans' way. Tyler Boyd also got injured this week, and he's out for a few days. So it sucks to see that we're the Titans. I guess we just have to get injured every single year. It's really hilarious at this point. Neither of them are serious injuries. I just wanted to bring it up. Chidobe Awuzie at corner also got injured like a month ago. It's just, I don't know what else we have to do to just escape from this injury plague that resides in Nashville. For the preseason, we play the Seahawks tomorrow night. No starters. We saw some of them last week. Looked pretty good. It's Malik Willis season tomorrow night.
Hey, I will be here.
We'll see how it goes. He's got Chestnut, so we should be fine.
Hey, Julius Chestnut.
He's actually good. He's actually good.
For new viewers out here, I had a Madden franchise one. I just did a reject franchise. Julius Chestnut grew to a 94 overall, X Factor, and he won the MVP 1 year for me. Want to shout out him for that. Julius Chestnut, Ben R. Is always in our hearts around here. Of course, Malik Willis is a preseason legend. Always have been, and he will be for how long he's in the league.
Yep. I was interested to see if Mason Rudolph was actually going to get the nod, but looks like they're going with the Willis. Mason Rudolph apparently has done pretty well in camp, surprisingly. Now he's probably going against backups, but... So yeah, for Titans talk, that's what I got. Just kind of summarizing the past couple weeks as we move further towards the season.
And now it's my turn. So, of course, my team's Saints. And when you really think about the Saints, you think of amazing defense and not so amazing offense. Let's just get straight to the defense. Dogs, they're going to be elite. They're going to be a top 10 defense. No matter how many times the offense goes 3 and outs with Derek Carr and that abysmal Pete Carmichael offense. Luckily, thankfully he's gone, so I don't have to watch that. Oh my gosh, offense was so bad. He's been our long-time offense coordinator for forever. Thank God he's gone. He's probably old. Hopefully this year, we're going to go back to last year's first-round pick with Brian Breesy. Hopefully he shows a little more in the run game this year. The big thing about the Saints, we always hold on to our players a tad bit too long. So I'm going to go back to 2022 first-round pick and Trevor Penning. Get that man out of New Orleans. Get him out of there. I don't know if anybody saw that clip versus, I think, the Arizona Cardinals backup defensive end. He has less footwork. He has more footwork problems than a Pee-wee player. I think I can go step in and have better footwork than that. But that's offense.
Is he like daily bad?
I'm going to move on to defense. I'm going to keep going defense here. Yeah. Of course, Lee, you got to talk about old men and Demario Davis and Cameron Jordan. How much Cam Jordan lost a lot of take last year. He wasn't elite last year as he usually is, but all in all, he's still pretty good. Always will be pretty good. Is this going to be Demario Davis' last elite year? He's been an anchor for our defense since we signed him from the Jets. All in all, hopefully he just shows out, keeps elite, keeps being that leader that we need to. Pete Warner, dog. Always will be a dog. He will be just that consistent player that we need him to be. And but the good thing, finally the Saints defense, as long as they can stay healthy, the defensive backs will be amazing. Marshawn Lattimore, Paulson Debo, Alontae Taylor, Kool-Aid McKinstry, Honey Badger. I mean, just great names just right then and there. Marcus May is very underrated. I don't know if you really realize that. But Honey Badger, screw C.J. Gardner-Johnson. I saw all the beef on Twitter. I actually read through a lot of that. C.J. Gardner-Johnson can go just fall off this year, hopefully. Honey Badger, top 10 safety in the league. Marshawn Lattimore, top 10 cornerback in the league. Paulson Debo, started as started as a rookie. Alontae Taylor, dog. And then Kool-Aid McKinstry from Alabama, Nick Saban product. People said that's the hardest. He's one of the hardest hardest cornerback they ever faced. And all in all, defense is going to be great per usual. Pick up a fancy. Now what's not going to look elite is our offense. It looks okay. It's the story of outside of that fluke Jameis Winston 6-game run that we had before he got injured.
It's a Mickey Mouse run for sure.
That was a Mickey Mouse run. I remember that one of the games playing Green Bay. I thought we were about to get torched, about 42-10, and then here comes Jameis Winston, act like he's the second coming of Drew Brees, and then he tears the ACL, and then he's just a locker room guy. I'm sad we got rid of him. It's gonna be a very sad day when he retires in the NFL. Hopefully we can have him on the team for one last time. Like I said, he's that locker room guy that every team needs. So speaking of quarterback, don't worry.
Let's yeah, actually, what do you think? Do you think Jameis Winston could take over for Deshaun Watson?
No. No.
Deshaun Watson was stinky.
Deshaun Watson's bad, but Jameis Winston is bad too. I don't know if people really realize that.
You don't need a lot to win with that team.
That's very true. But I don't really
the contracts is the problem.
Yeah.
You can't bench a 45, 50 million contract. I don't know.
It's a lot. It's too much, to put it that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of really bad contracts, I'm looking at my notes right now. I don't even want to say this. Carr, he isn't bad per se. He's just okay. That first drive that he had, that only drive that he had in the preseason versus the Cardinals was really hard to look at. That was I was like, what is going on? Hopefully we're saving more for, this year. Hopefully Carr can turn back to his 2016 self, where I thought that was the second coming of Jesus Christ. How he torched the Saints that year.
It's not happening.
No, absolutely not happening. Absolutely not. And of course, Kamara. I'll talk about the ones. Kamara. I mean, I think he gets slept on every single year. He's yet to have 1,000 yards rushing, so hopefully we get that turned around.
Still hasn't done that, right?
No, he has yet to do that. He has 1,000 yards scrimmage yards every single year, but cool, I guess.
He always had Mark Ingram to do the hard, rushing, really. And good O-line play. He doesn't have good O-line play anymore.
Times. That was good times.
Yeah.
Of course, Chris Olave, dog. Raheem Shaheed, he runs very fast. He will run past your
Cook the Titans.
He will run past your defense.
I saw it in real life. It was bad. Sean Murphy bunting. Thank God he's gone. I hated him. I ain't gonna lie.
That was good to watch. I remember watching that game. And then the big question is who's our wide receiver 3. I think it's gonna be A.T. Perry. Out of Wake Forest, 7th round pick last year. Dog. Absolute dog.
He's a big boy.
He's a big boy, and he's a fast boy. And of course, we got to think about the Bub Means out of Pittsburgh this year. Bub as word name. Just saying Bub as the announcer is gonna make me giggle every time. Rattler is my king. He will come in and save the whole entire franchise next year. Jake Hayner, hopefully he gets fully recovered from his skin cancer. Prayers up go to him. Get Trevor Penning on New Orleans. Fuaga is a dog. Ryan Franchek, sadness. And the last thing I have before we go into the last bit of the NFL stuff is apparently the Saints have been getting trade offers from the Vikings for Derek Carr. I'm praying that happens, but I doubt it will. Yeah. So speaking of Vikings, they've had a rough offseason.
Yeah.
Someone give Viking fans a hug. They definitely need one.
Yeah.
Injury bug is hitting really hard too. Not outside DeAndre Hopkins, Tyler Boyd now apparently. Jaden McCarthy confirmed torn meniscus. Wow. That's gonna suck for his development.
Yeah.
Hopefully he comes back perfectly okay from it. Jordan Addison got carted off a few days ago. That it's probably looking at a high ankle sprain. I remember looking at a video. It was like a slow-mo video of it. It looks so much like Michael Thomas's high ankle sprain. So hopefully he can actually play. And then another wide receiver they have on the roster that was projected to be the wide receiver 2, Thayer Thomas, went down as well, like 30 minutes right after Jordan Addison. So hopefully it gets better. But in all good news, Matt Corral got signed by the Vikings, baby. Matt Corral stand up, baby. Let's go.
There's no fan members in that group. Maybe Ole Miss guys.
I am one of them. Always will be one of them. I personally saw him torch LSU. Do not care. He will be a dog. He will be better than Sam Darnold. Be the best quarterback from that class. We don't want to talk about the quarterback class though. Just all in all, Matt Corral's gonna be the best quarterback in the league next year. Just y'all wait.
So yeah, JJ McCarthy, that sucks. Development. I was not high on him, but could he have taken the reins from Sam Darnold? Yeah, of course he could. We'd started at week 1. I don't know about that. It's similar. I guess it's similar to the Patriots situation. Kind of, I think it's safer to start the old veteran backup for the first part of the season. But the Vikings don't have a choice. It's Sam Darnold's season. If I'm Justin Jefferson, I'm like throwing my helmet probably. Not just for this season, but for the future. That could be potentially your quarterback that you're working with for the next however many years he's there, and if he's good. And he just signed a big contract extension to stay there. So that's probably unfortunate for him. Then you lose your running mate, Jordan Addison. We'll see how serious it is. I don't know if it's too bad. Maybe a month. I don't know. I didn't see the time frame for it. But obviously that takes some pressure off Justin Jefferson. So he's probably pretty upset. Him and Vikings fans probably feel very similar. They had injuries last year, obviously. Kirk, Jettis, Hawkinson went down. It's just devastating. As a Titans fan, I feel for this. I've been watching this for pretty much every year I've been a Titans fan. Just injuries take our players. Derrick Henry, if he didn't get injured, and he could have been MVP that year when he broke his foot. That always will haunt me. So I kind of know what they're going through. A little bit what they're going through. So the next one, we did talk about the Hollywood Brown injury yet? I don't think.
No. One more thing before we move on to Hollywood Brown. I feel so bad for Justin Jefferson. He's the best wide receiver in the league, or probably top 2 wide receiver in the league. Tyreek Hills also exists. Just a big thing you better hope for Justin Jefferson is that Sam Darnold don't start seeing ghosts. Oh my God! I remember seeing that report.
I watched that game. I watched that full game. It was bad. It was hard to watch.
Hey, but hopefully Sam Darnold learned from Kyle Shanahan, and because he's obviously a better coach than Adam Gase. That was a dark time for Jets fan. And
I forgot about him, man.
I think that's best.
That was the Le'Veon. They had Le'Veon in that era too.
Yes, I think that was Sam Darnold's rookie year, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so.
That timeline matches up. But
I think they got New Jerseys that same year too. That's what I remember.
I remember seeing Adam Gase's first NFL interview. That was hard. I remember just staring at the camera like this the whole time. Having both lazy eyes going out this way. It's just, that was rough.
That was a weird era.
That was a weird era. And then Robert Saleh, really not any better, to be honest with you.
I actually agree. I think he's really overrated.
I don't think he's that good of a coach. So hopefully, just all in all.
Defensive coordinator, great. Defensive coordinator.
Amazing, actually.
I think, that's a specialty. I think he could easily get any defensive coordinator position he wants, pretty much. So yeah.
Just hopefully Sam Darnold, acts like he was at USC again, and we just go from there. Another big one is Hollywood Brown. He's gonna be out 4 to 6 weeks. I kind of forgot the injury. I forgot. I didn't write it down.
I can't remember. I'll look it up real quick.
Yeah, while you're doing that, Chiefs have been through a lot this offseason. They've been the Georgia Bulldogs of the NFL, if you want to be literal about it when it comes to drama. Rashid Rice, I don't know really what to talk about Rashid Rice. We're still debating.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be on suspension for probably the first 6 weeks. I mean, if he does, you're missing him and Hollywood Brown. You're pretty much counting on Xavier Worthy, Sky Moore, and Kadarius Toney.
Sky Moore, yeah. Ugh, that is rough.
That's a rough first 6 weeks.
Yeah. But Rashid Rice was pretty much their number one most of last year as a rookie.
Absolutely.
So.
But knowing Patrick Mahomes, he's probably going to go 5-1 those first few weeks.
Yeah, it does not matter. It really does not matter. He has Travis Kelce. That's
absolutely. Also, I want to shout out Isaiah Pacheco. Underrated fantasy pickup. I didn't get a chance to pick him up because he got picked the pick before me. Absolute dog. He runs like a little child, running after a lollipop. So I respect it from there. But all in all, Hollywood Brown, hopefully he's healed up. He's okay.
Shoulder injury, sternoclavic. Well, I can't say that word. Shoulder injury.
Words that we cannot say because we're not medical. We're sports people for a reason.
This one.
Whatever the shoulder is. Just
yeah,
all in all,
shoulder something.
Once Hollywood Brown gets back, he's going to be fast. Xavier Worthy, fast. Rashid Rice, fast-ish.
He's more of a route running kind of guy.
Yeah, I agree. But I'm not. Chiefs are not going to be affected by this. If they do, they're just going to make up for it. They're going to back to Super Bowl. I'm not worried.
Yep.
The team I am worried about though is the Buffalo Bills.
That's a big blow.
They took a big loss. Matt Milano went down indefinitely with a torn bicep. That all pro linebacker, Pro Bowl linebacker, probably the best defensive player they had on their team, just goes down, and now you're looking at who's going to step up. Some backup. Don't even know his name, to be honest with you.
It's not great.
Hopefully.
You were counting on him to lead your defense, so I was not happy with my position in my power rankings that I put the Bills, but to lose that, that's like 2 or 3 spots just for that.
I agree.
Because that's the defensive leader.
Just hopefully, of course, rest up easy for him. He should be. I think he's gonna come out perfectly okay. Next year, he's gonna come back with some vengeance. I think he's going to have a really cool brace on now. That's going to make him look even more scary next year. So hopefully Josh Allen just carries the team.
Yep.
Any more injuries that been hit so far?
I think we covered the main ones. We kind of got a lot of these happened in the past week. It was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look up real quick.
I'm pretty sure it's all. Hopefully everybody rests up easy. That everybody comes back next year fully healthy.
Yeah.
Speaking, I just want to talk about a minor Joe Burrow. He's not really injured, but I'm just going to talk about injury last year. Apparently, it affects 75% of your accuracy. So that's something to look out for Joe Burrow fans out there, especially us. But let's just move on to just the big news. Brandon Ayuk. I do not want to. I'm so tired of talking about this.
We do not care.
It's been going on for all off season, but reportedly, the Niners gave him a $30 million contract for over 4 years, $30 million. It's just something that I need to be signing or not. I think this is gonna be the last. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be the last. If not, he will be a Steeler or a Brown. And there's no way around it. I knew Steeler gave him a big old offer. They actually passed up on. Just hopefully get one last trip with them. And so, luckily, hopefully it's almost done. I'm ready for this to be over with.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's actually San Francisco or bust. Yeah. It's Steelers. That's the only trade destination I think that's really available anymore. I think the Brown ship has sailed. Reportedly, they wanted Amari Cooper back in the deal. That's not happening if I'm a Browns GM. Even though the age, obviously, much in favor of Ayuk, but you'd rather build a Cooper and Ayuk receiver room than get rid of Cooper. So I think that was a good move. It seems like the 49ers are asking for too much. That's pretty much been the biggest issue. That and Ayuk, who I guess he just cannot find a good contract that he wants, or he might get it and it comes from the Patriots, and he said he just didn't trust the quarterback room, which is completely fair. So it's Pitt or it's San Francisco. That's it. I just want it to be over. I want to move on. This is a guy pretty much last off season, you kind of knew it was coming up, and earlier during the year, this is a guy I wanted as a Titan. I think it made a lot of sense. You get Rand Carthon coming over from the 49ers to be our GM before last year. Obviously, the moves that have happened since then doesn't make any sense anymore. But after seeing all this happen, I'm glad we didn't. It seems like we would have been giving him way too much money for one season of production. I think he'll put up the same production wherever he goes this year, but I'm just saying it's 1 year of production. It's a little bit risky. I can see why there's a little bit of a delay. I mean, it's Ayuk causing it, but it's also which team wants to give him that money? I just want it to be over. I don't care where he goes, honestly, as long as it's not the Chiefs. That's it.
And so for our final main thing for today's podcast, we got to go over to Atlanta. This makes me so mad. First, Justin Simmons signed a contract to Atlanta. I wanted him to be a Saint so bad.
Yeah.
I thought
he should have been a Titan.
He was going to be a New Orleans Saint. Everybody in the world thought he would be a New Orleans Saints. It's not going to happen. Signed a 1 year, $18 million deal with Atlanta. Frick. That's really good for them. Going to be an instant starter alongside the Jesse Bates.
Justin Simmons. And Jesse Bates. That's just an elite.
They're definitely going to go up a few notches on my power rankings. It's just hopefully they just I don't know. They suck. That's what I'm hoping for as a Saints fan. But all in all, as a main sports fan,
$8 million.
Oh, okay.
It was a 1 year, $8 million. Yeah.
And then
I thought it was going to be more based on that was the delay with him signing. I think was the contract. So I thought it was going to be way more than that.
Imagine someone for C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Screw that. Okay. So and then the next big thing that happened in Atlanta, they got an edge rusher. It makes the Penix pick look a little better. Still not as good, but
yeah,
getting Matthew Judon from the Patriots for what, like a 4th round pick?
Third round
pick. That's deadly. I mean, he's not gonna be the best like edge rusher in the whole entire game anymore. I mean, he can still get off the ball, but he just adds. You needed something in that position, and Atlanta went in, filled it. That means the Patriots are going to get worse. They actually might be the worst team in the league now, since Panthers got a little better last year, and Patriots did not get any better from last year. Just hopefully Atlanta screw this up so the Saints can have the division.
Yeah. This is a guy I wanted as a Titan, Justin Simmons. I think it just made a lot of sense. It was a need. He visited a while back. So I think this is I thought the contract was going to be much higher. Credit to the Falcons. They played it out, I guess. His price came down. They got him on a visit. Deal was done. They needed another safety. They got it. You get the best safety duo, top 2, top 3. Now you get on the other side, you get Judon in that trade. 3rd round is you could say it's a little much. He's an older guy. They still have not signed him to a new contract, which is the whole delay in New England, and he didn't want to play there. But just their biggest concern was defense, obviously. I'm trying to even get to my rankings to see where I had him.
I'm at like 16, I believe.
It was mid-teens for both of us. I think both of us probably have him closer to 10, top 10 now. That's their biggest need. They fixed it. As you said, Judon, he's not gonna lead the league in sacks. I don't think anyone's predicting that. But to step in, immediately be their best edge rusher, the guy they're going to trust to get to the quarterback, it's a great trade because you're really contending. You're trying to contend this year. They got young pieces, but they're trying to contend the next couple years while you still have Kirk, hopefully at a high level if he comes back, plays that same level. And then you get Penix after that, who will probably be like 30 when he starts, but whatever.
Just one last.
So just a great overall move for Atlanta.
One last thing before we kind of get this out of here. CeeDee Lamb, I forgot, I didn't see this earlier, so I was rolling through my last little thing. CeeDee Lamb was actually offered near about $33 million AAV. This will put him at one of the highest paid receivers. He's probably still going to decline that, and because he will, as you see, this is going to be Saturday. We're gonna edit this, get this out of here for y'all, and hopefully y'all come back next week. We're gonna have more NFL, more college football, and I believe an NBA little happiness.
I want to do an NBA pod. I think Sunday or night or Monday, just before college ramps up. We need to get it out. There's not a whole lot to talk about yet, but we can still do a power rankings, and that's going to take
an hour.
Shoot, NFL took like an hour, I think. So 2 less teams for NBA.
Last little bit, Spencer.
So yeah, I think.
Sorry. Spencer Rattler's the GOAT. Ryan Tannehill is out of the league.
Yep.
DeAndre Hopkins is our king. Julius Chestnut is my father.
Yep.
And end it here.
Yep. See y'all. How do you stop?